Good morning, friends and family. It's me, Jessie. So today I am going to talk to you about why I made the decision to go to China. Like what factors came together for me to decide to hop across the world there. Oh, hello, neighbor. There are a couple of reasons, and I actually sat down and made a list about it. But I think the first one I would say would definitely be the opportunity that you get in your work experience by traveling abroad and just the exposure you get to a different country, you know what I mean? Some of the things that would go with going to another country would be like things like acquiring a new language, getting adjusted. It's gonna take a lot of getting used to using a selfie stick. Anyway, some of the things that you may experience in going to a different country that I'm personally looking for are language acquisition and cultural acquisition and just sort of like a broader perspective that isn't just American. You know what I mean? I think that we owe it to the world to kind of know more about those around us instead of being so ethnocentric. In a time where that's a big deal, let's just not do that. Some other things would be just the ability to teach and get the opportunity to have some leadership experience, and personally for me, to also apply studies for my major. So I was an Asian studies minor in college and a political science major with a focus in international relations. And because of that, it makes the most sense for my career path for me to go ahead and hop across the world to get the work experience that's required for me to do the jobs that I want to do, you know what I mean? And I'm sure many of you are probably in the exact same position, and so just do it. Some people, or like some of you guys who are taking like Korean or Chinese or Japanese, might have your professors tell you that you won't actually get to practice your Chinese or your Korean or your Japanese very much. But just pick a city. For me, I picked a city in Fuzhou, which doesn't have as many English speakers. They're still there, but it was part of a push for me personally, since I'd be teaching English and would be speaking with my English coworkers, to kind of go to the market where people may not be fluent in English and practice my own Chinese instead of assuming that everybody was going to speak to me. It'd make life a lot easier. Another benefit about Fuzhou is that it's also really, really beautiful, and so is most of China. There are some other factors that aren't like purely business related, so to speak. For me, the opportunities that were offered with cost of living in China made it the best option. And so in comparison to cities like Seoul or Tokyo or even Beijing or Shanghai, there were more options in China, and going through especially teach English in China, because they offer so many different cities and options that you can choose to live somewhere more expensive and more that has more of a city life and more amenities, or you can go somewhere very rural where you can save almost all of your income and have a very low cost of living. It hasn't quite that was my friend. It was also pretty difficult I noticed, to bring pets to Japan and South Korea, especially in Japan because they have rabies quarantine and all of that, like a 2-month quarantine. And I think one of the bloggers that I also watched noted that it takes probably 4 months, I think, to get all of the vaccinations and the information in to go to Japan or South Korea. The process to take a pet to China is a little less expansive and a little bit more direct. You can also fly them as a carry-on, and their quarantine period is not nearly as long as it would be in Japan, which makes me as a pet owner feel more comfortable because it's likely that they'll be held in ports in the airport of entry that I come into, so like Shanghai, Beijing, Hong Kong, etc., which I'll be making a video on later. It's also really, really easy to travel. While Tokyo and Seoul are pretty centralized, I would say, I think that not only is it cheaper to fly throughout China, China itself is massive and has so much geographic diversity, ethnic diversity, religious diversity. It's like having 7 different countries in one. For me to fly from Fuzhou to Tokyo, it's less expensive than it would be for me to fly from Birmingham or Atlanta to San Francisco, because it costs $700 to fly across the country here, and maybe it'll cost you $600 max to fly overseas in Asia, and that's just crazy to me. I think that the exposure to all of these things that I've listed is going to be so imperative to my personal growth and to maturing and becoming the person that I want to be. And while it's terrifying in so many ways, I'm scared for sure, I think that that fear is helping me grow. And I think that having the struggles and the difficulties and the highs and lows that come with moving abroad, as well as the assistance that comes from China, because let me tell you, you can have your rent paid, you can have your medical insurance paid. I have all of these things paid for in my current job. But you can have rent, medical insurance paid, your flight will be paid, your visa fees will be paid. I'm covering like my background check and my TEFL certification, which is a little bit pricey, but I'll make another video about that later. It's just such a good opportunity. They're literally handing you this opportunity in a gift wrapped package. And so many people just aren't aware that this opportunity exists. Like, I wasn't aware until I happened across a Teach English in China video. I mean, that's how I found out how to go to China. I did the same thing you're doing right now. And so if you're like me and you're sitting here watching this video and listening to some of the things that I have to say and thinking, may not be able to relate to everything, but I can definitely see where she's coming from, and I've considered some of these things too. And you're still hesitant about whether or not you should make the decision because you're not sure about how it's going to help you professionally, you're not sure if it's going to be better for you to take a sabbatical before you get your master's or your PhD. If you're wondering all of these things and they're all ifs and you haven't even decided if you're going to go to school or further your education or get a job, then just go abroad. It's not hard. I mean, it is a little expensive, but comparatively to what other people pay who are immigrating to other countries, it's nothing at all. And you'll be able to travel all over the world. You'll be able to experience so many new people. You'll be able to acquire a new language. You'll be able to gain invaluable work experience and decide for yourself if the country you're living in is really your country. Because while you may be a citizen of your country, you may fit in better somewhere else, but you'll never know until you try. And so, who knows? You never know what you're going to experience. And I think that's the beautiful thing about going abroad, is surrendering yourself to the unknown and choosing to allow fate and everything like that to take you where you're meant to be. And so that's all I have for you guys today. Leave any questions down below and I'll try my best to answer your comments. Make sure you join Notification Squad up above so that you can see any videos that me or Teach English in China post to this channel, because I have a lot of really good content coming from you guys, from taking my pets with me and how much that is so much paperwork, to like go hiking in China. I can show you some of that. My visa process, getting my TEFL certification, anything that you're unsure about, I'm here to help you with because I'm unsure too. And so we can be unsure together, and maybe you can learn from some of the mistakes that I make or some of the good things that I do. So, like I said, like and subscribe to Teach English in China, join Notification Squad, and leave a comment down below about things you're thinking about, things you liked I said, things you didn't like that I said, any ways that I can improve. Just let me know and I'll be happy to help you guys out. Bye you guys, have a good one, see you later.